Hey everyone, and welcome to Grow Wealthy Grooming. I am your host, Beverly, founder of the Savvy Groomer, where I teach you guys to go from being burnt out, broken, into healthy, wealthy, and happy, building a grooming business on your terms. Let's thank today's episode sponsor, the Pay Grooming Employees Masterclass. This is a 6-module masterclass where we teach you all about how to pay your employees. So let's go ahead and hop into today's topic. Why won't customers let my employees groom their pet? Now, in honor of Halloween, this is a scary subject, right? A lot of you guys have built up this business and then all of a sudden you have all these customers that want you to groom their pet, but when you hand them over to your other groomers, they don't want them to groom them. So let's say I go to a hair salon and there's a very specific woman that I trust with my hair. She does my color, she does my cut. I know that I can trust her. I know what skill set she has, and I know what she consistently produces, right? And I feel really comfortable with her. I know she's not going to steer me wrong, right? I know that if I say, hey, I want to go platinum blonde, she's going to go, we did that last time, and you didn't want to come into the salon every 2 weeks to get toned. To be like, you're right. I did say that last time. Thank you so much for that insight, right? Now, if I had to make an appointment with the woman who does my hair, and let's say her name is Amanda, right? And the conversation goes, oh, Amanda's busy today. However, we have Sally. There are some people who are going to say, oh, okay, well, obviously, Amanda wouldn't put me in a position that I would not be comfortable with Sally, right? But I'd also want to be sold on Sally's skills because that's how I was sold on how Amanda groomed, right? I shouldn't say groomed, I should say styled hair, but habit, right? I also say I housebroke my son. I used to call his crib a crate. It's all good. But what happens, right, is that we get so attached to one person doing our hair, doing our nails, doing our eyelashes, doing the things that we trust them to do. Right? Instead of trusting in the confidence of the business. Okay. So when I get trust in Amanda and not in the business, when I see Sally, I want to be sold on Sally's skills. Does she have the same certification that my hairdresser does? Right? How long has she been a hairdresser? Right? How long has she been employed there? Where did she work before? Like, tell me all about her. Right? And as a customer, I started my relationship with Amanda. Instead, this is why, guys, I highly suggest if it is going to ever be more than you, and ideally, even if it's only going to be you, we want to create a relationship with your grooming business and not with a specific person, okay? Not with a specific groomer. So after you've thought about things like this, right, I want you to think about putting yourself in that position. And you go to this normal person and they just randomly hand you to some other hairdresser or nail tech, right? If you're the kind of person that gets like really elaborate nails and you're growing out your real nails, right? Or you're going blonde with your hair, or you have, certain things, right? Everyone has a thing that they really value. Okay. So after you've thought about all of that, and then you go say, okay, well, when I hired this person, right, in my grooming salon, in my mobile, whatever, and I hand them to a customer, I want them to trust anyone that I've hired. Right? I want them to come in and know that if they trust me, they should be able to trust somebody else. Okay? Because that's what you want them to do. You want them to come in and say, well, you trusted Amanda, so why don't you automatically trust Sally? But just the same way that I explained it, they're not going to. So let's have a really, really, really honest conversation here, guys. How many of you guys are, grooming salon owners and you bitch and moan about your employees? Okay. You've always been telling me how much your employees give you attitude, how you don't believe in your employees, right? They're always late. They're always trying to get out of cleaning. They're always trying to cut corners, right? Now that's not all of you, but a lot of you guys tell me how awful these employees are, right? Instead of how wonderful they are. Now, of course, those guys have wonderful employees. I love that. But if you don't believe in your employees, why should a customer, right? it's not unreasonable for them to not want this random person that you've hired grooming their dog. And we also are going to talk about what you can do about it. Okay. And on a bigger conversation as an industry, we need to talk about not just hiring people that are bodies, right? We don't have a official certification. We have certifications through certain programs and things like that, and they have varying degrees of actual worthiness, right? And and even then, sometimes if someone hasn't done any continuing ed in 20 years and got certified 20 years ago, that's a different conversation altogether, right? But a lot of you guys will just hire some rando person off the street, and 2 days into their hiring, you're handing them a full day's worth of dogs, right? So I want to imagine that you're a customer walking in. Do you have time to communicate with them about this new person who's going to be grooming their pet? I'm going to take a wild guess and assume anyone here listening today does not own a chop shop. You're not a grooming business owner where you don't care about the clients, you don't care about the dogs, you don't care about the quality, right? If you're watching these episodes, I know you care about this industry, okay? I know you care about your job. I know you care about your career. I know that you care, okay? So you need to believe in yourself as well. But anyway, so you're charging a reasonable amount of money and have clients that truly care about their pets. Therefore, they care who is going to be grooming their pet. So here's a great example. If I bring my standard poodle Rory in to get a modified German cut, and I walk in and I see Tiffany, who's the person that normally grooms my dog. Tiffany says, "Oh, Sarah's going to be grooming your dog today. I'm terribly overbooked today, but Sarah is wonderful. She's a competition level groomer. She's amazing. I will be here to supervise everything and maintain quality. I just wanted to let you know what was going to be happening today." Am I happy? Not super happy, but will I accept it? Yeah. Now, if Sarah's the one who checks in me and my dog and she just takes her in the back, right? Because that's what happens, right? Some random person shows up at the front, grumbles at me, takes my dog and walks in the back, right? Without this conversation, I'm going to assume that Tiffany's going to be the one grooming my dog. And then, here I am and I come back and I see my dog on the table with another groomer. And I'm like, "Hi, who are you? Why are you touching my dog? What is going on?" Right? This is not a good situation, right? It doesn't feel good. And that's a major problem, right? So as a business owner, if you're going to be hiring these employees, it's important that you have communication with your client. That's why it's ideal as an owner that you manage the salon instead of grooming dogs all day, okay? Because if you're grooming 5 to 8 dogs a day, you're going to need time to communicate with those customers, especially if they want to take 15 minutes, they have questions, concerns, things that they want you to go over with them, right? Because that's what's going to happen, right? If you have not built trust in your overall business, if your whole marketing plan was all about you, your certifications, the things that make you special, not the overall business and brand, right? If every single person that comes in there has been trained XYZ 1, 2, 3, and we all do things the same way, we all give the same haircut, right? That's a lot easier as a client for me to feel really comfortable versus every groomer is totally different, right? Because every shop is different. So I don't want what I got at the other shop. I wanted what I got here. And do I get that consistently no matter what groomer I get? And for the most of you guys, it's not what's going to happen, okay? So ideally, this would be something, again, you have time to talk about before they even got there, right? Or, like I said, you have a whole brand and everyone knows that no matter when they come in, it'll always be the same. And again, a lot of times you guys don't have that time as business owners. You just assume the customer is going to be perfectly okay, right? Which again is crazy to me. It wouldn't be, and I'm a groomer, right? I wouldn't be okay with it. And I'm a groomer, right? I know that my dog deserves to be treated a certain way. And if I want that kind of whoever gets my dog, and I have no say in anything, I'm better off going to Petco. And a lot of times, guys, we are as owners, as pet owners, we don't understand as business owners that we're accidentally encouraging people to go to these corporate salons when we're treating them the same way as they'll be treated at corporate salons, right? I know at Petco, I'm going to get the same thing. I'm going to get different haircuts because unfortunately, they don't standardize that stuff. But as far as things like, like the shampoo. I know there's a standardized thing of shampoo. I know there's a lot of standardization in pricing and things like that. You don't worry about those other factors, right? So if we're going to be treated like that, they're going to treat us like that. Okay. So again, imagine yourself in that customer's standpoint. And of course, some of you guys are going to reiterate, well, if I trust this person, they should trust that person. But how do they know you trust that person if you've not communicated that? How do they know that they're in good hands? Another great way of thinking about it is if you went to a human daycare, you have little kids, or you had a babysitter. If I had Amanda, the babysitter, and she's going to come over to my house and watch my son, and Sarah shows up, right? It's one thing if I've hired a company and the company has training and the company has standards where everyone is CPR certified, everyone's had a background check, all these things, right? Versus, I trusted Amanda and now here I go. Now I have this random person in my house offering for me to leave my child with them. That's not happening, right? I have no context to this. It's not going to happen. So give them a little bit of sympathy and really start thinking about that. Now, we all groom slightly differently. So I'm going to have to explain what the dog is going to need. And is the owner going to have time to explain it? Am I going to get the dog back the same way? As a customer, these are questions that I have, right? If the owner or the normal groomer is there to communicate with them, it's a lot easier. So as a business owner, how do I even begin to maintain quality? So when I hire someone, here's some things that I might do. I would have the employee, and again, this doesn't have to be if I'm hiring a brand new employee, this could also be a quarterly or even a monthly check, right? So I'm going to have the employee bathe, blow dry, do nails and ears, and then I'm going to double check their quality. And again, if I'm brand new hiring them, I'm going to let them do that for just a week. Okay. And then I'm going to let them do rough cuts if they're a brand new hire, and I'm going to double check all of their quality. And again, I'm going to let them do that for a week. And then I'm going to let them groom the entire dog. And again, I'm going to double check quality. I'm going to let them do that for about a week. Everyone should double check everyone's groom because a second eye is amazing. No one is perfect, guys. Okay. So think about that. If you hire someone, you're hoping they have the knowledge they claim to have. And then you're letting them loose on all your customers, right? When you should honestly be nervous about that, right? You need to have a system in place to double check their work and not just assume that someone you've hired for less than 30 days is a perfectly capable employee, right? Think about that. You would not let somebody who is unlicensed, right, or has no regulatory body just hand them over to things, right, for an entire month. Again, I think in this industry, it's again, trying to hire the body instead of actually making sure that people can consistently create the work. If for the first week, they're just a bather, right? They're bathing and blow drying, and you're seeing that they consistently bathe and blow dry their own dogs, great. Now, if you're a grooming salon that your groomers don't bathe and blow dry, then just have them do rough cuts. Have them do rough cuts for a week or two. Make sure the quality is really good, right? And if they are doing finish work, I want you to be there to make sure that you like the way they're handling the dog. You like the way that they're designing these haircuts, that they're up to your standard and they are consistent with your grooming standards. For instance, if you have someone who's a nose shaver, I hate that, but you do, you have those people that just zip right down there, or people that I call it the lipstick look. They shave not just like the little whispers. They give the dogs bald lips, right? This whole big lipstick look, right? Or we at my shop, our rule was we called it a poop shoot. It was a nice big baboon butt. That's what my customers wanted. That's what we were known for. And a lot of times we would have people that would zip, zip, zip a booty, and we'd be like, nope, right, all the way up. Right? Because again, every shop has a different style. Every shop has a different level of quality. And remember, that doesn't mean that the shop that does small booties is lower quality, and no more than doing a baboon butt is lower quality. It's just what is the standard of this shop, and how close we're getting to that standard is the level of quality. Okay. And again, your customers came to you because you told them that they could trust you. Your customers came to you because they believe in you. Again, if you are marketing as you, and I feel like the whole industry wants you to do that. If you go to all the classes, most of the classes, I should say, at trade shows, they're mostly about growing you personally as a groomer and not growing your business, right? If you are the only certified master groomer in your shop and you're selling customers, hey, I'm a certified master groomer, that doesn't help when you start hiring people that aren't, right? And if anything, they want you. They don't want these other people. Okay, so when you're handing them off to these other people, of course they're going to be upset, especially if it's been several years, especially if you've had groomers come and go, right? They want to trust you. And I do think as an entire industry, this has to change. It is not sustainable. It just doesn't work, okay? And again, if you are the only master groomer and then everybody else is quote unquote regular groomers, and even then, I don't put too much emphasis on most certifications because, again, I think that a lot of them are fun and amazing, and I totally honor that you do that, but they're not actually like specific to anything. And I understand they're specific to what breed and style you can do, but you know, if I'm grooming a Yorkie poo and I have my certified master groomer, I don't feel like, you know, necessarily I'm going to give them a better pet cut. Again, if you value if your standard is different than mine, you will feel that way. My standard is for dog cuts is not the same place my cat cuts is a lot higher because again, that's my standard. Okay. So anyway, I want you to think about that. And if they do want the certified master groomer, well, then guess what? They need to pay more for that. If you're not, let's say, a master groomer and you're just the owner and they all want you, right? Find different ways to create incentive to start going to these other groomers. You might say, okay, anybody wants to get groomed by me, there's going to be a price increase. And if you don't want that price increase, you can go with one of my employees, right? And a lot of people, instead of paying an extra $20 or $30, $40, they're going to be perfectly happy to be a little bit cheaper, right? And go with somebody else. And if you're finding that that's not happening, then you can do different things, right? It makes sense that you're going to want to stay attached to you, right? It's going to make sense that they're going to want to stay attached to you because they know that you won't leave potentially either your business like an employee may end up doing, right? They're going to want to build that relationship with you. We all know how often groomers change jobs. It's not uncommon for a groomer to change every 6 months to 2 years from shop to shop to shop. And it gets really difficult for a client if they become attached to those groomers, okay? So you might be asking, okay, well then how do I fix that, right? You may want to hire a receptionist, right? In the beginning, a reception can be you, right? I do think more often than not, if you've built that relationship with your clients, it's time to, really step into that. You can be the one answering the phone. You can be the point of contact. So on the busiest days, have your solid bather and groomer. Everyone should touch every dog. The way dogs get used to everyone in the shop is to be handled by everyone in the shop, right? The dogs that come into your shop should learn to trust everyone, whether people leave because of death, drugs, right? Retirement, or they move away. For better or for worse, it's not easy to keep people in your business every day. So having these dogs be attached to everyone and they know the shop is a pleasant place, right? That's more important. Okay. And again, I don't teach that you have your groomers come up and build relationships with your customers. I really feel like pet owners should only speak with the owner or this one point of contact. That's either a receptionist, that's the business owner. I don't think it's healthy for you guys to be having, all your groomers coming up because again, they're going to be attached to that person. And then when that person leaves, you're either going to follow them or they're going to come in after you. Okay. So there's lots of ways of doing that. And ultimately, it's all about creating a team environment. Okay. And I understand it's not the easiest things, at least in the beginning, but it does get easier. Okay. So if you guys are interested in learning more about the Pay Masterclass, be sure to visit me at savvygroomer.com/PGMC. And this is a 6-module masterclass where we will teach you how to calculate a pay structure that actually works. We'll show you how to calculate sustainable pay structures, set you up in the back end, and to legally pay employees, create bonuses and benefits to keep those employees. Again, I know it's hard because people are bouncing around. We have a groomer shortage. This is a great opportunity. If you're trying to shift away from being a groomer owner into just being an owner, you need to know how to pay people in a structure that works really well, that everyone can be a team player. And I know that's not always the easiest thing. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me for this episode of Grow Wealthy Grooming. Be sure to visit me at savvygroomer.com to see my current opportunities to work with me in growing your pet grooming business, plus lots of free resources for you to learn. I'll see you guys in my free community, Savvy Pet Professionals on Facebook. And as always, guys, happy grooming.